embedded finance and super apps is off to a very busy start. I'm delighted to have Alex Mifsud, CEO and co-founder of Weaver.io, who's taking a few minutes out to chat to me. So welcome, Alex. Thank you for joining us. I hoped we could start with you telling us a little bit about you and Weaver.io.
Sure, thanks for having me. So I'm a computer scientist by training. I spent the first part of my career really, doing research primarily. And then I started building payments businesses in the early noughties when there was relatively little sophisticated regulation, so you could experiment as much as you liked. Got a lot of things wrong, learned a lot of lessons. I think that helped me build my second business, a business called Exaris, which I sold last year to a global banking as a service player called Neum. And now I am building Weaver.io, which I think it's the most exciting business I've been involved in my career so far.
So that's a great start, and I love the story of you saying that perhaps the first time it didn't work out so well, but you took a lot of learning from that, and I think that's a great insight from an entrepreneur. So we have a really exciting community with us today to discuss embedded finance. Where do you think that non-financial enterprises brands are in their journey in understanding what the opportunity is that embedded finance offers? And what are some of the ways in which events like this can start to shift the dial?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask that. We asked something like the same question in a survey last year, and we asked fintechs as a control group, as well as non-fintechs. So these are companies in travel, logistics, real estate, prop tech, ed tech, those kind of industries. And we asked them where embedded finance fares in their priorities. And non-fintechs were marginally less likely to say it was one of their top three. Around 65% of the cohort we interviewed said that embedded finance was one of their top three priorities looking ahead. And I think about 68% of fintech said it was. So there is awareness. There is awareness of something that is happening that is going to have some competitive importance. When it came to asking for how they are going to go about doing it, that's when you fell off a cliff. So I think the industry is very much at the cusp of having enough awareness that there is something that's going to be of big value. It's going to change customer behavior and customer expectations. But when it comes to, okay, so how do I execute on that? It almost feels like the early days of e-commerce, when everybody knew this was going to be big, it was going to change the way we buy stuff. But at the same time, becoming an e-business wasn't so obvious for many, many established companies. And of course now it's very easy, there are all the tools out there and everybody knows how to do it. That's where we are in embedded finance. It's before knowing how to get it done. Knowing you need to probably do it at some point, but not sure how to get it done.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to kind of think about, and I know you'll be speaking about this later, how do you create this roadmap? How do you do it? You're aware of it, you have an idea of what can be done, but now you need to take some action. So I look forward to hearing more from you on that later today. Looking ahead, can you see some clear winners and perhaps losers in a world where just about anyone can integrate financial services into their offering to their customers, communities, and users?
Yeah, there are two sides to that question. There's winners and losers of those who are providing embedded finance. And it's very early in the game. It's very hard to make a call on that. There's a wide open territory and everyone is experimenting, everyone is learning. No doubt some will succeed, some will have to either iterate or pivot, and some will fail outright. On the other side, those companies, those non-financial companies that are looking to use embedded finance, I think there will be winners, because what happens with technology is that a technology that initially seems like it's very esoteric, only a few can understand it and use it. when it proves its value, it starts to become part of the standard toolkit for building businesses, for building applications. It's a little bit like talking about APIs. 10 years ago, people were talking about the API economy. We don't talk about it anymore because it's so obvious. It's a bit like, models around how do you add data to applications to make them smarter. We don't really talk about that stuff anymore because it's become part of the standard toolkit of how you build new applications. And I think embedded finance will become one of those essential pieces of kit and techniques, in which case everyone will be a winner. Everyone using it will be able to create more value for customers ultimately.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that insight. And in the spirit of experimentation and learning that you described, I look forward to hearing more from you and your fellow speakers across the day. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.